सबका स्वागत करती हूँ और ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि मेरी हिंदी और अंग्रेज़ी में मिक्स्ड सवाल होंगे। मैंने अक्षय से कहा है
उनके अप्स एंड डाउन्स को बहुत अच्छे ढंग से जितना वो कर सकते थे एंड उसके सपोर्ट में जो वो जितने भी एनेक्जर दे सकते थे पुस्तक में उन्होंने देने की कोशिश की है।
Again, most people, at least from my generation and in my early 50s, they read Agyeya in their college life, in early the last year of the school. So I would have read.
एक ऐसे आदमी के ऊपर आपने शोध किया है जो कि the man he was, the man he seemed to be, and the man unknown to himself he really was. इतनी बढ़िया किताब मैंने सालों के बाद पढ़ी अक्षय. It become right leaning and because वो संस्कृत और हिंदी राष्ट्रभाषा वाला जो था and कि अगर वो आज होते तो he would have been a भाजपाई I think. तो एक तो सबको पता है ये दिनमान कैसे उपजा और क्या उन्होंने किया and what a great role it played in
अज्ञेय साहब की जो फ्रीडम मूवमेंट के पहले और फ्रीडम मूवमेंट के बाद इनका जो राइटिंग्स थी उन्होंने एक बड़े समाज को अक्रॉस द कंट्री इम्पैक्ट किया एंड दूसरी बात ये है कि ये एक किस्म से उनकी जो पर्सनैलिटी थी वो फुल ऑफ कंट्रडिक्शंस थे। एक से उनके लाइफ में विरोधाभास थे, अप्स एंड डाउन थे और उनके अप्स एंड डाउन्स को बहुत अच्छे ढंग से जितना वो कर सकते थे एंड उसके सपोर्ट में जो वो जितने भी एनेक्जर दे सकते थे पुस्तक में उन्होंने देने की कोशिश की है। मैं ईरा जी के और अक्षय जी के बीच में ज़्यादा देर तक नहीं रहूँगा। मैं आप सब लोगों का वेलकम करता हूँ कि इस तरह का जो कन्वर्जेशन की सीरीज हमने शुरू की है वो आगे भी कंटिन्यू रहेंगी और आने वाले वर्षों में भी कंटिन्यू रहेंगी और हम ये चाहते हैं कि जो आइडियाज़ एंड शेयरिंग ऑफ डिस्कशंस और आइडिया एक्सेस के जो चीज़ें हैं ये हमारे सोसाइटी में जो कम हो गई हैं, बंद हो गई हैं, शिथिल पड़ गई हैं, ये कंटिन्यू रहे और हम लोग एक दूसरे से एक सोसाइटी से अक्रॉस द कंट्री हम बातचीत करते रहें और जो पर्सपेक्टिव हमारे सामने है पुस्तक के लेकर अक्षय मुकुल हमारे मित्र और ईरा मैं हम सबको आनंद आएगा आपको ये कन्वर्सेशन सुनते हुए और मैं आप दोनों का वेलकम करता हूँ प्रेस क्लब इंडिया की तरफ से, हमारी मैनेजिंग कमेटी की तरफ से, हमारे सेक्रेटरी जनरल विनय कुमार जी की तरफ से, आप सबका जो यहाँ आए हैं अपना वक्त निकाल के आप सब लोगों का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है और शुभकामनाएं। बहुत धन्यवाद।
सबका स्वागत करती हूँ और ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि मेरी हिंदी और अंग्रेज़ी में मिक्स्ड सवाल होंगे। मैंने अक्षय से कहा है कि बट सबसे हाँ इतनी बढ़िया किताब मैंने सालों के बाद पढ़ी अक्षय। तो पहले तो आपको बहुत बधाई कि आपने इतनी शिद्दत से और इतनी मेहनत से कैसे इतना मटेरियल आपने जमा करके और उसको डिस्टिल करके और एक ऐसे आदमी के ऊपर आपने शोध किया है जो कि the man he was, the man he seemed to be, and the man unknown to himself he really was, were three different aspects of his personality. And you've given the title itself, the reader a hint of the many, but there are so many other things which you have not been able to put in the title. For instance, in a place like this, I would like to say that he was also one of the greatest journalists and who started 2 or 3 landmark publications. Dinman was only one of them. लेकिन कविताओं के लिए संग्रह हो, कविता के लिए, जर्नलिज्म के लिए, हिंदी भाषा के लिए उन्होंने बहुत बहुत काम किया है। तो my only problem is the size of the book. बिल्कुल मैं आज कहने वाली थी नाजुक कलैया मरोड़ गए और वो पढ़ने में उसको किस पोस्चर में पढ़े समझ में नहीं आ रहा था, लेकिन वो इतनी बढ़िया कहानी आपने गढ़ी है कि उसको पढ़ने में इतना आनंद आता है कि जिससे भी जिन्होंने पढ़ ली है अभी तक, कई लोग अभी पढ़ नहीं पाए हैं, लेकिन जिन्होंने भी पढ़ी है they've all said that this is a remarkable book. So I want to begin by first of course congratulating you on what you have been able to achieve. And since not many people here may have read the book, why don't you tell us about why you chose Agyeya and how you managed to then go into this labyrinth of his life?
Thank you for all the kind of kind words. Agyeya, most people, at least from my generation, and I'm in my early 50s, they read Agyeya in their college life, in early, just, the last year of the school. So I would have read Sekhar Jivni at 16, 17, and that's the time when he completely blows you, especially Sekhar. If you ask me now, maybe Sekhar is not my favorite novel of Agyeya, maybe Nadi Ke Dweep, maybe it's the age. But so I read Agyeya, I've always been fascinated by him, the multiple things he was doing, multiple lives he was leading. And mind you, most of the things that one had read about Agyeya or heard about Agyeya, now it seems almost 60% of was hearsay. And for both sides, those who loved him, those who don't love him. And if you see, Hindi world is almost kind of divided in the middle. Even now, there are many Agyeya lovers who have asked me, why do I have to write about Agyeya's love life? How is it important to Agyeya as a writer? Those who don't like him, they think, maybe I've been kind to him. So the debate will continue despite this fat book. I don't think I was even willing to kind of resolve it. It should continue. So this kind of Agyeya always intrigued me, and because I read biographies a lot, I mostly read biographies. And then one day, as I've written in the book, I was sitting with Agyeya, and we were just discussing Hindi world. And then I asked why no one is writing Agyeya's biography. And then she said, why don't you write it? And I said, how do I write it? And how do I do this? Is enough based on her sense. They said, this is not worth kind of reading. Most of the stuff on him is just hearsay. And then she kind of put me to the right people, the custodians of his private papers. And this is a massive private papers. Anyone who works in the archives will go completely crazy looking at his archives. But once I put sense into those archives, there is still gapping holes in that narrative. And for instance, if you ask anyone about Agyeya, those who don't like him will say that he was a British stooge because he worked for the British Army. Because how do you explain otherwise that a man who was a revolutionary in the early 30s joins British Army in the early 40s? How do you explain this? And then they also tell you that he was a member of the CIA funded Congress for Cultural Freedom.
Rockefeller Foundation.
Which again, now in Delhi, across two archives, you will find 1,500 pages of his revolutionary years line, which no one has seen. Which it's a massive paper, a Delhi conspiracy case. So that kind of is one gapping hole. But when it comes to the CIA, the papers are lying somewhere in Chicago, in the Congress of Cultural Freedom papers. Then you find there are many tales, many views in Congress for Cultural Freedom, what was happening. And one of the allegations which I have written about is by the gentleman James Burnham, who was a great American philosopher, and he was a points person for getting CIA money through CCF to the Indian unit, which was called Indian Committee for Cultural Freedom. And James Burnham had alleged that Agyeya had kind of diverted $1,000. And therefore, to check that, you wanted to look at the papers of James Burnham in Stanford University, in Hoover Institution. Then some bit of his association with this Rockefeller Foundation, Ford Foundation, that you find in the archives, in Rockefeller archives in New York. So that kind of, it became kind of obsession. The idea was also not to reiterate what is already known in public domain, but to kind of, whatever one has to say it based on the facts, promote it, say it so that nobody tells you that, okay, you have basically perpetuated the hearsay. So that took time, and that's like kind of took away 5 years of my life.
No, but they were well spent. He'd become right-leaning, and because वो संस्कृत और हिंदी राष्ट्रभाषा वाला जो था, and कि अगर वो आज होते तो he would have been a भाजपाई, I think. I thought वो जिंदा भी नहीं है, वो मरे कितने साल हो गए हैं, वो आज क्या होते, कल क्या थे, अभी तक
I don't think, अगर आप देखें तो one of the most, the fiercest attack on RSS and Hindutva comes in the pages of Janman, and written by him. It's not even anonymous editorial. You see his Sir, he, wa, he as he used to write his initials. He attacks. He says, न तो ये राष्ट्र है, न संघ है, न सेवक है. He calls RSS. And Hindutva, he says, where will they end? Are we to take Afghanistan into our fold? Are we to do this? What happens to all our Buddhists in Sri Lanka? Yeah, he is fiercely. And some of the questions that he raises about secularism, I see a lot of these questions are very relevant. In fact, Ashish Nandi raises, if you read his long essay on secularism, Ashish Nandi does the same thing.
Any free thinking person.
So yes, he gets into this last 5-6 years of his life. He is heavily invested into this Indianness stroke Hinduness kind of thing, which he's searching for something. But to say that he would have been BJP is absurd.
तो कपिला जी का भी बहुत था उसमें हाथ. I think कपिला जी cultural
he was out of his life by I think late 60s, early 70s. By the time he returned from Berkeley, he's out. But Bidya Nivasmist was a abiding influence of Bidya Nivasmist.
And he's great supporter, right?
Great supporter right through. So he's doing all this. Prabhakar Machwe, all these people. Even when this writers' camp starts and when they go to Ayodhya, it's not Agyeya, but it's Naresh Mehta who writes that when I see the state of Ram Janmabhoomi, I feel very hurt. I feel, why will it happen? Something like that. Agyeya gets taken in by few things. For instance, he sits over a Havan ceremony because he's very unwell. Partly it could be...
होते तो crucify हो जाते.
So he sits for a Havan for a few hours in Bikaner. And because he's not been keeping well, maybe Ila to some extent believed in all this. So Ila had told Nand Kishore Acharya, Hindi writer from Rajasthan, कि इनकी एक वो जो कहते कुंडली या जो भी बनाने के लिए कि how is the stars working or something, which I saw but deliberately not used because it can't make head or tail of this. Yeah.
Congress, in any party that you could think of, they have no writers, no filmmakers, no. Mrs. Gandhi was a very imperious and a very difficult person to get to know or come close to. लेकिन वो जब information broadcasting minister, and even later, I believe she had this system where she called people for breakfast or for a tea or whatever, just to hear. Dr. Karansi says because she was a photograph situation, maybe that is good. But that kind of interest in what people are thinking, what is happening in the country, naturally you get isolated and segregated from the purity. It is impossible. You can't go near anybody. But that is a very attractive part of that generation and that time in the
In fact, if you see this whole Asia conference which I have talked in great detail, look at the involvement of Nehru and Radhakrishnan. They are saying that look, why should state impose a delegation? Let the state academies decide. So there is a great deal of back and forth happening. कौन जाएगा कितने लैंग्वेज के होंगे तो that was that CIA funded Congress for Cultural Freedom. That was Congress for Cultural Freedom. That happened in 1951. हाँ दिल्ली से जो बॉम्बे किया था. Yeah, I'm talking about Asia Conference which is the 60s. Nehru is still Prime Minister. Nehru is very involved, but at the same time he said let the writers decide. We should get into this. And Agyeya is not happy with the way delegation is being done, certain languages are being ignored, within the language the rest of the writers are being ignored, and Hindi has always been a divided, full of faction. So there is a Lucknow gang, he says, no, ours is a genuine Hindi site academy, Labad guys say, no, you cannot fit, ours is the, so all this happened, Nehru is watching it, Nehru is kind of involved, but still lets them have the freedom, sort it out among themselves. So that kind of involvement for a Prime Minister is very, very rare. You don't find that one. I haven't seen the subsequent Prime Minister take
aspect of his personality, which is somehow not fully, available to us here, is his interest in plants and gardening.
Yes.
And his enormous knowledge. Ellen Roy के साथ जो शास्त्रार्थ होता है, and when Nehru gave just a few months before he died, she gave him 17 varieties of hibiscus and some plant which is an unbelievable.
In fact, Agyeya is fascinating. Everyone who knew Agyeya, right from people in Windsor, people who knew in Delhi, everyone knew that he was man of many parts. He was a tailor, sweet maker, he could do various things and the plants. And he had abiding interest in animals and plants. And every person he could discuss in great detail was, and the match for him was Ellen Roy. Now Ellen Roy will tell him that the Orange Road house of this ambassador, I have seen that plant, so please get it. Now they exchange, the tracks are being exchanged from one place to the other. And when it comes to this particular instance that you mentioned, Nehru has just visited and gone to Dehradun to see hearing Ellen Roy. And he is greeted by Kapilas there by certain plants, flowers, and then he looks at her house and he says, where did you get this thing? Even the middle of Nehru is telling them, he says, okay, send me a cross, I want that. And even again, they is constantly talking about plants and they talk about actual names. Then long and later, they really, I had to search what do they mean actually. Because they knew, each one knew what the other one was talking. So yes. Kosi, he was again a friend, part of the same circle. Kosi said, Garud said, yeah.
And inside wala jo those days must have been but I remember Manas when he जब secondary में उस साल दो तीन और लोगों के
some say or another.
हिंदी writers ने मतलब I think Edward Side मैं भूल गई so I was there in the IIC and I thought why would I bring out the volume on 100 years Charles Darwin gave me and his granddaughter had stayed in the IIC अब कौन मतलब कविता जी की इजाजत के बिना तो अगले के ऊपर कुछ कर नहीं सकता अशोक भाई के लोग इसे भूल जाओ because we were planning to make do a special this thing scientifically and she said I will not allow you to come. So I said, it's not that you can't, just take away somebody from the world and a man who loved people and loved people. So I thought to myself, इससे कहूँ जो कि वो बना नहीं करना. So I wrote to Manas and Manas and she did so we wrote a beautiful piece on Agyeya and I took it to her and I said, what do you say that you approve of it, then I wrote. So she said, so Manas बताती थी कि he used to accompany them himself and he used to take him all walks in the forest and pine needles जमा करके गद्दे बनाते a man who मतलब उसके लिए कहते हैं ना Michelangelo के लिए कि नहीं Leonardo da Vinci के लिए कि he was like the sun, he gave life to the whole world and yet he found the time to ripen a bunch of grapes on a wall.
उसमें बिल लगा होगा आपके उसमें कैश.
Absolutely fascinating. He managed to somehow bring everything, some in greater detail, some
राजेंद्र ने आया
but
नहीं
it was a great book.
उसमें से बिल निकाल के दे दो.
And I hope some of you will have the courage to read it. I'm telling you, it was so cheap, but it's worth every word. You've done a great job. Is there any questions?
I have time for 2-3 questions. I've got 20 questions.
I'm sorry we can't hear you.
दो सवाल हैं आपसे.
पहले को आप डील कर चुके हैं काफी हद तक, एक ये कि उन पर जो एलिटिस्ट होने का आरोप लगता रहा है,
क्या होने का?
एलिटिस्ट होने का।
अच्छा, ओके।
तो उसके बारे में आपको क्या लगा रिसर्च के दौरान, क्या वो क्लासिकल सेंस में एलिटिस्ट थे? और दूसरा ये कि यू कुड नॉट हैव थॉट ऑफ राइटिंग दिस इन हिंदी, बट फिर भी क्या ऐसा लगता है कि ये उस आरोप को आप पुख्ता ही करेगा कि भाई ये एलिटिस्ट थे, तो देखो इन पर 900 पेज की किताब 900 रुपए में इंग्लिश में ही है। और दूसरा एक डिस्क्लेमर कि मैं अज्ञेय का उसी तरह का भक्त हूँ जैसे लोग आजकल किसी और के भक्त हुआ करते हैं, तो इसको अज्ञेय के खिलाफ ना माना जाए।
खिलाफ के होने में कोई परेशानी नहीं। पहले मैं दूसरे सवाल का जवाब दूंगा कि इंग्लिश में क्यों, इसका मेरा एक बड़ा स्टैंडर्ड जो रिप्लाई है कि ये सिर्फ हिंदी के राइटर्स में क्यों होता है कि हिंदी के राइटर को हिंदी नहीं बांध दिया। अगर मार्क्वेज को हम स्पेनिश में बांध देते तो there would have been no Marquez, or there would have been no Pessoa, kind of somewhat Tolstoy. And it also tells you, and it's not only about Agyeya, and I can name actually 10 Hindi writers who can be read all over the world if they're translated by Nirala, for instance. Now in our times, look at the Hindi writers who should be available to everyone. And it's not only Hindi, it's Malayalam writers, Bangla writers. So ये आवाजाही तो होती रहनी चाहिए हर भाषाओं में कुछ। अंग्रेजी में इसलिए लिखा क्योंकि that I would more comfortable in doing that. आपका एक जो अगर मैं हिंदी में करता, मैं हिंदी भाषी हूँ, मैं हिंदी प्रदेश का हूँ, मैं बिहार का हूँ, लेकिन I would have still struggled. Partly also because I have been dealing with English for far too long now. So one has now started maybe thinking in English. So therefore that's the reason I did, not because I consider him elitist or anything. Yes, Agyeya came from a completely different stock than his contemporary. He was not a kasbai. जिसको कहते हो kasbai नहीं थे, वो एक खुले मैदान में पैदाइश हुई थी उनके। उसके बाद आप उनके जो समकक्ष हिंदी के राइटर्स हैं, आप किसी को उठाकर देख लीजिए, everyone had a very mofussil, rural, semi-rural background. He is a man who was born in Kushinagar, goes to Patna, Lucknow, Srinagar. Land is Uttam. How many Hindi writers do you know at Madras Christian College? And there also is winning, as a science student, is winning the highest, the best humanities award, the Miller Prize. Then he comes to Roman Christian. Look at the larger experience he has, so he thinks differently. And mind you, one of the things which works in his favor, it changes his homeschooling. Our generation has not seen what homeschooling can be, but in his case, I think a lot of his talent, everything that we see, comes from homeschool. Everything is reading in original. If Persian teacher comes, teaches in Persian. Sanskrit teacher comes, teaches in Sanskrit. The original thing. He is reading Patanjali Sutra when he is in school. He is the school age. How many of us even have learned the pages of Patanjali Sutra? So that helped. So I will not get into this elitist thing. Yeah, he came from a different background, he looked different, he dressed different, and he was a Punjabi, which Hindi world never forgave him for that. They kept reminding him that you are a Punjabi. In 86 he says कि मेरी कहानी कोई नहीं छापता है, मेरी किताबों की समीक्षा नहीं चलती. They always considered him ranked outsider despite the fact that he was the center of all the controls.
And may I just continue, sorry, I just wanted to add to what Akshaya is saying. What I like about the book is that it is so accessible. You know, जो आप elitism का concept सोच रहे हैं, I find that a lot of our academic writing and a lot of our, how should I say, ideological writing has now become so jargonized that it excludes the common reader. I am not a historian, I am not a great scholar of Hindi, I am not a scholar of India. लेकिन I have a deep interest in all these things. अगर ये कोई कल्चरल एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट कोई लिखता सो एज टू बैठ के या I can wager that it would not, you wouldn't be able to go beyond 10 pages. I've also been in academia, and one of the things I got absolutely turned off was that you try ज्ञान के ऊपर ताला लगा दो, भाषा का खुलेगा कैसे? What I loved about Akshaya is that because he's bilingual, like his yearbook. Okay.
And a journalist, I think.
And a journalist, exactly. He knows where to pitch it for a reader who is an intelligent lady.
Yeah.
Sorry.